So are you looking for some summer fragrances to rock in 2025 around $50 or less? I got you guys covered with these 10 hitters that's gonna be having you smell great all summer long. What's good, guys? Hunter here and welcome back to Fragrance Hunter, your one-stop location for all fragrance related content. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 10 fragrances around $50 or less to rock in summer 2025. And these are all heavy hitters, guys. That is not going to break the bank by any means. Now, I've already covered my top 10 niche summer list, my top 10 designer summer list, and of course my top 10 indie list. This is gonna be my top 10 cheapie list. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this list because of course we don't always wanna break the bank to smell good, right? And these ones smell very expensive and still gonna be around $50 or less. And of course for the summertime, you want some fruity fragrances, some tropical fragrances, fresh kind of floral fragrance, aquatics, etc. And we pretty much got all of those covered. So I also want to let you know this is not going to be a ranked list. We're just going to go through my top 10 cheapies that I'll be rocking during the summertime. Let's not waste any more time and get right into it. So the first one we're going to be talking about is a very hyped up fragrance that I just got in my collection. So I already know I'm going to be rocking this a ton during the summer because it's also so versatile, and it is Joe Milano's Game of Spades Wild Card. If you're on TikTok, I know for a fact you guys have seen this fragrance, heard about it because everybody's talking about it. And I think for very good reason. In the opening, you're gonna get this kind of floral bouquet, some bright citrusy bergamot, a little bit of this spicy coriander, but it does dry down to this beautiful kind of ambroxan fruity apple mid with a kind of woody, ambergris, salty base. And Game of Spades Wild Card, like I said, is gotta be one of the best summer fragrances for the price. Even though it's very versatile, it is the kind of fragrance you can wear all 4 seasons. But man, if you want that one go-to compliment beast, versatile summer fragrance you can wear in the day, the nighttime, you had to check out Game of Spades Wild Card, and you'll be able to find this for around that $50 mark, which is just insane. And of course, I'll leave all these fragrances linked in this video. And the performance, forget about it, will last you all day long. Even during the summer, this one is going to push through that high heat. So that's why I recommend Game of Spades Wild Card so much. Next up is kind of a hybrid of 2 insane designers, and it is Offnon's 9 a.m. dye, which has got to be the best one for the summertime from the 9 p.m. 9 a.m. line by far. I just think this one's going to be a must, guys. It opens up with this mouth-watering bright lemon, very refreshing mintiness that does start to dry down to this Granny Smith fruity green apple, a little bit of this smoky incense with that kind of zesty, uplifting ginger base. So bright, so citrusy, almost like you are taking a dive into a pool. That's the exact vibe this gives off, guys. You need this one in your life for the summertime, and especially for the price. You can get this for probably around like $30 or so. And if you don't know, this is, in my opinion, a hybrid between Bleu de Chanel and Yves Saint Laurent's Y, which are 2 absolute heavy hitter designers, all bottled up in 9 a.m. dye, which also makes for a perfect summer freshie. Guys, if you don't already own this one, you need this one in your life for the high heat, I promise you. Next up is another Offnon, but it is inspired by one of my signature scents, and it is Offnon's Tarathy Blue. By far one of my favorite fragrances from Offnon, guys. This one is going to be inspired by Bulgari Tiger. You're gonna get this fruity, citrusy kind of grapefruit in the opening, a little bit of this spicy, zesty ginger that does dry down to this kind of musky, ambery, ambroxan note in the base of a Tarathy Blue, and it's outstanding. One of the best interpretations of a Tiger. So if you don't want to spend around $400 on Tiger, you have to go ahead and get Tarathy Blue. It's gonna blow your mind, guys. Which is kind of funny too, because yesterday I was actually wearing Tarathy Blue. I've worn this one so many times. I love this bottle, and it just so happens to be absolutely perfect for the summertime, guys. Like I said, it's probably around $30 and you're gonna smell like a $400 fragrance easily. By the way, this actually performs better than Tiger, I know. Trust me, it's insane. This is the kind of fragrance, if you already own this one, it's kind of like if you know, you know, if you know what I mean. Absolutely check out Tarathy Blue for the summertime, guys. I'm telling you and trying to put you on to smelling absolutely fantastic. Next up is a fragrance a lot of you guys probably already own, and if you don't, you're gonna need to get a bottle, and it is Versace Havas, guys. This hyped up beast. Everybody's been talking about this fragrance for the past couple of years, and it still absolutely hits, especially for the summertime, because with this one, you're gonna get this ultra refreshing, bright, citrusy opening from lemon, bergamot, this fruity green apple that's mouth-watering, almost like you're taking a bite out of an apple, guys. You get that ooze coming out of it. That's the vibe this gives off in the opening, at least. But it does dry down to be even more aquatic. It has this kind of watery facet about it. Plus, it adds a note of this fruity, dark plum, which I think where the juice color is coming from, being this kind of purple color, which I think this is gonna be a hit for the summer evenings, especially if you're going out to the clubs in the summer, you're going out to a nice dinner date in the summer evenings, this has to be a must on your list, guys. And then round it off in this kind of musky, spicy, earthy base with Havas. Now there are a few flankers of this one, such as Ice, Black, which I'm a big fan of the black flanker. It is inspired by Havas, probably one of my best interpretations of Havas, guys. That's my baby. I do have it right over there. I haven't tried Ice or the new Tropical even coming out, but still, you really cannot go wrong with just the OG Havas, and it's gonna be around 30 bucks. And the performance is outstanding with this one as well, guys. That's exactly why this beauty is making it this cheap summer list. This next one might be the most expensive on the list, but it's still roughly around that 50 bucks. So it's gonna be, if you're on a budget but still wanna smell absolutely bougie, this is it right here, and it is our Mauve's Club de Nuit Precious One. The best, most superior Club de Nuit in the entire line, guys. I just reviewed this baby not too long ago. I love it. It is my favorite out of all of the Club de Nuits, and there's so many. With this one, you're gonna get this fruity tropical pineapple, some bright lemon, but it does add this nice sweet tone thrown into the mix from the caramel note in the opening, guys, and it's outstanding. It's kind of like a sweeter take on that kind of Aventus, Havas, absolute Aventus DNA, and it's amazing. And probably the most sexiest take on that DNA as well. And of course, it does dry down to that woody, oak moss earthiness as well, with that kind of patchouli overdose of ambroxan base with Precious One. But like I said, guys, if you want the highest quality, smoothest version of Club de Nuit, this is it right here. Over the EDP, over the original for sure. It smells like a chemical disaster, even though that one does get a ton of compliments. There's no denying that, but it is very sharp and kind of has a lot of rough edges to it. This is a much smoother take, guys. If you're on a $50 budget, you want a summer banger, you have to check out Precious One. I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna regret spending 50 bucks on this. There is no way. So next up, if you don't really want to smell like fruity, tropical, overly citrusy, aquatic, etc. for the summer, you kind of just want to smell clean and fresh, I got you guys covered with Zamaya's Equine Noir. So guys, this one is going to be very, very similar to both Yves Saint Laurent to myself and Gucci Guilty's Love Edition, which are both incredible kind of clean, fresh out the shower, linen sheets vibe fragrances. And I personally enjoy Equine Noir over myself like 8 out of 10 times, guys. I wasn't the biggest fan of at least the original myself, which this one is inspired by because of the kind of powdery white florals you found in that fragrance. This one takes that DNA and kind of tones down the powderiness, and I think it's excellent. Of course, if you don't already know the DNA, you get this kind of crunchy, tart bergamot opening, this kind of orange blossom, which gives off that very clean, fresh vibe, which is sometimes powdery. In this one, not so much, with that kind of ambrofix, patchouli base that you're gonna find in Equine Noir. Honestly, don't really agree with the Noir name, which means like dark or nighttime or black, etc., because this is a very much kind of fresh fragrance for like the daytime. So if you love myself, you love Gucci Guilty's Love Edition, which are both well over 100 bucks, then you can find this one for probably around $30, and it's gonna give you that exact vibe. By far the freshest, cleanest fragrance making this list, and that's exactly why Equine Noir is going to be a must-have for the summertime if you want to give off that vibe, guys. Next up is probably the most hated Assad, but I think it's the best for the summer, and it is Lattafa's Assad Zanzibar. I honestly do not know why this one gets so much hate, guys. This is probably one of my favorites from the line. Honestly, probably even prefer this over the new bourbon, to be honest with you guys. This stuff is actually very, very nice. You get this kind of aromatic, soapy lavender, black pepper opening, a little bit spicy as well, but does dry down to this kind of tropical, watery coconut water. You also get some of this kind of saltiness with this very luxurious, waxy iris and a base of this kind of warm, sweet patchouli and a slight little pinch of the smoky kind of resinous incense. By far the best Assad to pick for the summertime. They do have 3. The original, which is inspired by like Sauvage Elixir. They have bourbon. I don't know what that's inspired by because the bourbon is not a boozy bourbon. This one isn't really inspired by anything either. Kind of does remind me a little bit of like a more tropical take on something like Layton. Just because of the lavender, the spiciness, and of course that vanilla base. It does give off slight Layton vibes as done in a more tropical, summery way. So if you're looking for just getting a ton of attention, smell a little bit classier and not gonna break the bank, you have to check out Lattafa's Assad Zanzibar, and the one Assad to get for the summertime, hands down. So this next fragrance on the list is gonna be a fragrance you're gonna wanna pick up by the end of this video, hands down. And if you wanna smell like a pina colada, this is the fragrance for that, and it is Cutledge Island. Also a very hyped up fragrance that you will find probably over on TikTok, kind of like Game of Spades, a wild card. Everybody's talking about this fragrance I actually found mine over at the rack store in my vlog. If you missed that, go check it out. But like I said, this is literally pina colada in a bottle, guys. You're gonna get this very photorealistic, bright pineapple note in the opening right away. It's so dominant with a little bit of this kind of spicy, uplifting and ginger note, but it does start to dry down to this very tropical coconut, like you're on a pretty much an island, guys, like the name says. And then of course left with this kind of ambery, powdery tonka bean base with Cutledge Island, and it's absolutely insane how good this fragrance is for the price. It is inspired by Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Beau Le Parfum. So if you're familiar with that DNA, you like that DNA, then you already know you need this. I mean, this isn't even one of the best summer fragrances for the price, guys. This is one of the best summer fragrances in period, hands down, whether it be niche, indie designer, or of course a cheapie. Cutledge absolutely did not miss with Island, and this is also an extrait de parfum. The performance is insane for a tropical kind of pineapple fragrance. I'm telling you right now, guys, if you're not smelling like this in summer 2025, you are totally missing out. I mean, trust me, I'm making these lists to try to put you guys on and have you guys absolutely smelling the best in the summertime and smell better than anybody around you. Cutledge Island is going to do that, and that's exactly why this beast is on this list. Next up is a fragrance I've had in my collection for such a long time, and it never disappoints in the summertime and for being a cheapie, and it is of course Missoni Wave, which I think got discontinued, but now you can find these again on like discounters. So you missed out on picking up a bottle in the past, and now is your chance to do so, guys. With this one, it literally opens up like a wave, like you're in the ocean. It's very aquatic, very salty, and it does have this very bright mandarin orange mixed together with the salty kind of ocean vibe. It does start to dry down, being a little bit more aromatic. I think you have like lavender, you have sage, you have a little bit of this cypress, a little bit green, with the base of this kind of dewy, earthy vetiver and patchouli. But man, the opening of Missoni Wave is so captivating. Like you're literally chilling out on the beach by the ocean, and the waves are coming in, kind of blasting in your face. You're getting that kind of aquatic saltiness. That's literally what Missoni Wave is in a bottle, guys. Still incredible after so many years of owning it, and probably will always make an appearance on my cheap summer list going down years and years from now, guys. It's that good. Like I said, it's back in stock on discounter, so I'll leave a link on the video if you do want to get a bottle of this one. I think it's gonna run you around 30 bucks, which is so crazy because I know years ago you would never be able to find fragrances of this quality for the price. So we are very spoiled now, guys. Missoni Wave is on this list for a very good reason. Last but not least, we needed a good watery kind of watermelon fragrance for the summertime, and this one's gonna do that, and it is Dumont Nitro Red. This fragrance right here, guys, when I found this one and smelled it for the first time, I fell instantly in love with it. It was a love at first sniff for me. Oh my gosh, this one is insane for the high heat, guys. In the opening, you are gonna get this very fruity apple, citrusy bergamot, a little bit of this kind of powdery, slightly spicy lavender, but does dry down this kind of watery, aquatic, fruity watermelon note, which is the dominant note in this one. When I look at this bottle, I think of watermelon, and it kind of has a color to match. Just so good for the summertime, and it's not gonna break the bank. I know they just came out with Dumont Nitro Red, I think Intense, if I'm not mistaken. Haven't smelled that one yet since it literally just came out, but it probably will be a little bit more expensive than this one. And this one, like I said, you literally cannot go wrong with, especially if you want to smell like a mouth-watering, juicy watermelon note, which honestly, who wouldn't want to smell like that for the summer? Just imagine laying out by the pool, have a nice watermelon to your side, you're just munching on it, relaxing, soaking in the sun rays. You got that fresh kind of hot air blowing in your face, getting a tan. That's the vibe a Nitro Red gives off to me. And that's exactly why this beauty is on this cheapie list, because you cannot go wrong with this fragrance. So that's gonna do it for my top 10 summer fragrances for around $50 or less. Of course, let me know down below your cheapies for the summer you guys are gonna be rocking the most. So we'll make a list down below, some other cheapies that people will wanna buy or smell like for the summertime if it didn't make my list. But I think my list is goated, guys. All these fragrances you cannot go wrong with for around 50 bucks or less. So that's gonna do it for this video. As always, leave a like on the video, subscribe below if you haven't already, because what are you doing, dude? If you wanna smell good, I got all of you, and I'll see all of you back here in my next upload. Take care, everybody.